The Richie Allen Show had an interview with ex-CIA man Philip Giraldi the other day, link below. Mr. Giraldi had written an article in which he exposed the Jewish lobby in Britain, link below, based on a story that went nowhere, link below, about a plot by the Israelis to take down Sir Alan Duncan. Mr. Giraldi's contention is that it's shocking that the Israelis, Jews, Zionists, should be picking and choosing British ministers. And then we get the usual innuendo about Jews running the world and the Rothschilds and all that guff. I did smile to myself that Mr. Giraldi bemoaned that at one time he was a contributor on Fox News. I could have been a contender. But apparently his views were not what bunny ears people, close bunny ears, brackets, Jews, close brackets, wanted to hear. For those that don't know, Sir Alan Duncan, link below, is a Tory, gay, and was the butt of jokes about backdoor gardening due to his expenses claims, link below. Oh, and if he had entered politics 5 years later, he would have been the ideal New Labour candidate. Meet Alexander Lapshin, link below, an Israeli blogger who is currently at the centre of an extradition drama in Belarus. Last year he went to Azerbaijan, despite his being on a government blacklist due to him previously visiting the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh, link below, and blogging about it. Mr. Lapshin was born in Moscow and lives in Israel, or certainly his mother does, and has Russian and Israeli passports. He also apparently has a Ukrainian passport. Seemingly the name on the Ukrainian passport is different from the Russian and Israeli passports. And before you jump to conclusions, it is useful to read this column from 2010 by Peter Hitchens, linked below, that lays out the madness in Ukraine long before the current round of craziness, part of which involved people forcing them to make their names Ukrainian. So, because either Alexander or Lapshin is different in Ukrainian, or perhaps because on the blacklist he was listed as Israeli or Russian, Mr. Lapshin was able to enter Azerbaijan despite being on the said blacklist. As Mr. Lapshin wrote, "The idiots are giving the entire Azerbaijani people a reputation for being stupid, and I don't play their games, and I'll find a way of visiting their wonderful Baku again and meeting with my Azeri friends. In 2017 I'll come back to Azerbaijan again, and it's highly likely that once again they'll be unaware of my arrival." Which, as you might expect, did not endear him to the Azeris, nor did his support for the independence of Nagorno-Karabakh, nor his criticism of President Ilham Aliyev, nor his comments about the state of the city of Baku. Things of interest about Azerbaijan. In December 2016, the Israelis signed a $5 billion arms deal with the country to provide them with the Iron Dome anti-missile system and some radar. Link below. Azerbaijan is the main supplier of oil to Israel. And thirdly, it was announced yesterday that the proposed $3 billion rail link between Armenia and Iran is unlikely. Link below. It is believed the preferred route will now run through Azerbaijan. For those scratching your head, I suggest you look at a map, linked below, but even then you may be well scratching your heads. This is, after all, the Caucasus. A quick check of the NATO website. Wait a minute, in order at this moment. Link below to check if they have had any more meetings with Georgia lately. No. So, we will make a quick note that negotiations regarding Nagorno-Karabakh are currently were originally being brokered by the Russians, but that broke down, and now the Americans and the French are also involved under the auspices of the OSCE. Link below. And so in a roundabout way we return to Sir Alan Duncan. The state oil company of Azerbaijan is SOKAR, or SOKAR, link below, and it owns the Petkim oil refinery near Izmir in Turkey. And if you're following on the map, you will have to scroll right the way across to the west coast of Turkey. And they are in the process of upgrading the facility in order to process, in addition to Azeri light grade and Russian Urals grade, the Star refinery is being constructed with the capability of refining Kirkuk grade crude oil, allowing Petkim to manufacture high-grade petroleum products from crude oil imported from the KRG. Test production of the refinery will start in early 2017 and is expected to become operational in 2018. Thus, the Turks will no longer be dependent on imports of diesel and jet fuel. And there will also be large flows of natural gas from the Caspian Sea into Europe. Mr. Duncan was an oil trader, and until October of 2016 he was paid £8,000 a month as a non-executive chairman for Fallujah refining, which is owned by the second largest oil trading company, Vitol, link below, who happen to be the business partners of SOKAR. So I ask you, would the Israelis be targeting Mr. Duncan because of his links to Vitol and whatever advice he was giving them that may or may not have queered their pitch in a $5 billion arms deal with their largest oil supplier, or because he makes regular trips to Israel/Palestine paid for by medical aid for Palestinians? Link below.